I'm back. I've been back about an hour. Got a fire going. It's cold. It's getting cold, man. The temperature dropped. It's crazy that all day it got up to like 50 some degrees, right? And where I was with the where I was hilly and like highland. Obviously, that's where there's like that's where the lake was and the creek and stuff. Come back here as I'm walking back. There's less and less snow until I get all the way back here, and almost all the snow melted. There wasn't a whole lot to begin with, but I mean, there's still some on those hills over there. It must be out of the out of the sun, but I'm just thinking, man, dude, I can't believe now I have to drag this sled back tomorrow. I gotta load this sled up with all my gear. Out of the tent that's over there. And it's always a lot easier to drag in the snow. That's what I'm saying. Dragging it across the ground is going to be rough. It's not a ton of weight, but it's probably a legit mile and a half. Dragging a mile and a half, 50, 60 pounds, mile and a half, with a backpack. It's cold, man. Funny, the weather just shifted. About 2 hours ago, I was walking. It's probably about a 2-hour walk. Feet hurting. I'm wearing, look what I'm wearing, man. What an idiot. Shit, if you were trying to survive in the woods, you should wear better boots than this. But I wore these because they're waterproof. And it was snow. There was 6 inches of snow when I first got here a couple days ago. So I figured these rubber boots, as long as I kept my feet dry and warm with socks, I'm good. But didn't take into account that I'm going to be walking, miles and miles and miles in rubber boots, which is painful, and my feet are beat the F up. But I'm home, made it home, got the fire going. So now I got the rocks heating up. So once it gets dark and I go to bed, I'll wrap them in them aluminum foil, and I'll kind of throw those rocks next to me. They should help. I'm not really too worried because I keep this. I got enough wood here to get me through the night. I got some more I cut up over there. There's a bunch of deadfall in the woods over there. So I'm gonna get a pile up. There's more brush. There's woods all around here. I'll make another pile. I'll like quadruple that with that, and I'll be good. Those big kind of half wet old logs, they'll burn slow, but it's windy. So the wind is a problem. Because it's going the right direction. Now it's blowing away from me, which is not great either, because that keeps the heat away from me, but it also keeps the tinders and the sparks off my sleeping bag. I don't want to burn up my sleeping bag, holes in it. The wind shifts and starts blowing towards me, I'm going to burn up my sleeping bag, and that ain't good. So if that happens, if the wind starts blowing in my direction and I'm worried about catching on fire, I'll take my sled and I'll put it over the opening, and I'll just have to freeze my ass off in there, because I'm not going to catch on fire. Because that would make for a really bad ending to this whole expedition. Me on fire, burnt, 3rd-degree burns in the hospital. Middle of the night, I catch on fire while I'm sleeping. I wake up, I'm half burnt. God, I don't even want to think about it. Anyways, the only thing I've had to eat today was a freaking protein bar. Not even a big protein bar. Like a little granola protein bar. Like something my wife might eat if she wanted a snack. That's all I had. Now, I did save a little bit of deer meat. I'm going to fry it up in a minute. And the reason I'm going to fry it up, frankly, is because, well, it got warm the last couple days and it wasn't refrigerated. It was already cooked to begin with. I cooked it in a crock pot. I had some of it, but I saved some just for this emergency, in case I didn't catch any fish or shoot any game, which I didn't. But I still should bust out my pellet gun and take a few shots with it just because it's fun. And I'm going to do that. But, so I saved, a portion of meat. But since it sat there, for 2.5 days unrefrigerated, and during the day in the sun, it might have got up to 45, 50 degrees. Anyways, I'm gonna fry it just to be safe. I still do have some of that weird funky ass Russian stuff, but same thing. It's been open for 2 days now, and that stuff is sketchy to begin with. And one of them tasted like it was bad, so I'm like, man, I ain't risking it. I'd rather go hungry, but I am starving. I'm starving. I'm literally thinking, is there anything out here I could eat? Grass, mushrooms? No, there's nothing. But if I was if I knew I had to survive and this is it, I'd go hunting. I'd grab this pellet gun and I go squirrel hunting or something. There's squirrels around here. Right this time of day, no. But by tomorrow in the morning, I could get up and I could walk, through here. And there's pine squirrels. If I was move quietly and stealthily, might jump a rabbit, might jump a partridge, which is a grouse. I've seen them in there. This is a perfect topography for grouse. They love this area, so I might be able to get one. I'm a pretty good shot. If I see a grouse up to 30 yards, I can nail it, and that's a nice meal. But I was kind of hoping on fish, but I don't fish in the winter. I'm not an ice fisherman. Fish act completely different than the winter. They're not the same in the winter. So they kind of go dormant and hibernate. They're not very aggressively feeding, and I was using a reaction bait, which usually reacts a strike. But if they're not in reactionary mode, you need something just almost like barely moving, sitting there, and they'll swim up real slow and sniff at it and look at it and just barely bite it. And so I didn't have any waxworms or worms or anything like that, or minnows. I could just sit there. So if Ryan catch any fish, obviously if I was really seriously trying to fish out this time of year, I would have bought some of that stuff. But I didn't think the ice was going to be able to go out on ice fish anyways. And I don't have a spud to make a hole in the ice. So unless somebody else made a hole, which it was unlikely in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's possible. I'm sure there's some guys ice fish there. But if you can't find a hole in the middle of the lake that's open with only an inch or two, you can't get through the ice without a spud. And the spud weighs 25 pounds. So I'm not dragging a spud around for miles and miles. So anyway, so I'm going to cut up some deer meat and eat that. And you can watch me hopefully not get sick and die from it. Maybe I'll bust out my pellet gun and take a couple of pot shots with it just because it's fun. I mean, who doesn't like to shoot a pellet gun? By the way, first thing I did is when I got back is put my robe on because it's cold. It's right now it's windy and like 20 degrees. So with wind chill, it's probably like 14 degrees. Here's my gloves. I was wearing my gloves. And it's going to get way colder tonight, man. It might get in single digits tonight. I'm just saying. So we got to keep this fire rocking. I do have tea. So I'm going to have some tea. I don't have any cocoa left, but I have Russian tea. So that's what I'm going to make now. And then I was good with the water, though. I conserved my water good. I don't know how the hell I only lived off of a half a gallon of water over 3 days with very conservative. Well, I melted snow. I used snow for my cocoa and other stuff. So that kind of helped me conserve. But yeah, it's not hot. When you're not hot, you don't need a lot of water. But if it was like a hot day, I would have drank a gallon a day, no problem. Anyways, let's go ahead and eat and drink some tea. I'm just saying. Well, I swapped out to my Russian hat, and it's broke. So Russia, you're batting 0 for 2 in terms of the as my dad said, this is authentic Russian military regalia. This coat was supposed to be Russian authentic military winter gear, and the hat. So the strap to the hat broke, and the zipper on the jacket broke, and two of the buttons broke off the jacket. So I'm gonna go on a limb and say my dad got conned. Not surprising. My dad gets conned. He'll buy these knives. He's a knife collector. He'll buy this knife from Pakistan. He's like, look at this beautiful Damascus steel knife. That's $1,000 knife. I got it for $89 in my magazine. This magazine, Shotgun News, or whatever it is he subscribes to because he's a gun dealer. I'm like, Dad, that knife was made in Pakistan, man. It's a nice knife, but it's not worth $1,000. I mean, you got $89 and that's what you get, all the way from Pakistan. And the guy made it for $6. Somebody else bought a bunch of them and sold them to guys like you, stupid. Just like they did this coat and claimed it's authentic Russian military regalia. That's his word. He said regalia. I'm like, no, Dad, this is probably some kind of cheap aftermarket bullcrap made in China, and he just slapped on there as Russian. So anyways, I got a little something gross to show you. I really need to clean my bowl because I cooked those Russian MREs in it a couple nights ago, and it was like meat. Some of it was chili with meat, and it's kind of fatty and gross, and so it's just sitting in there. So I think I showed you before. Oh, right in the rock. You gotta keep it separated. You need dirt. Oh, you gotta use dirt. Because dirt is abrasive, emulsive, and so you use dirt. You're literally using dirt and twigs and crap, and you get in there, and then I'll put a little water in there, and and then like squish it around, heat it up, boil the water. But there's still gonna be some little chunks in there, you know what I'm saying? One of the chunkies ain't gonna hurt nobody, because I'm gonna fry up this deer meat, what I got left, in a second. So just thought you'd find it interesting that you can actually look at how clean it came. You know, now I'll rinse it out, and once I rinse it out with a little hot water, then you have a clean pot. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you use your pot and you don't have access to a river, a creek, or lake or something to clean it, use sand, preferably, but dirt, just regular dirt works. It's emulsive and abrasive, and it cleans the grease and everything out. Then use hot water and you'll be good to go. Hopefully I don't get sick. Just saying. I gotta admit, this meat smells a little ripe. I don't think it's gonna hurt me. That's the bone. Can't cut that. There's actually not a lot of meat left on this thing, but there's some. I almost think I should. Don't cut yourself. This is some from a deer that I didn't shoot. Actually, I may have shot this deer. This may be my buck, my last buck. Not a whole lot of meat. Take any leftovers you got and throw it in the wood fire, because yeah, there's not much here. But it's gonna be tasty because I'm hungry. There we go. I'm not really worried about like predators coming around. If it was summertime, you'd always have to be concerned about bears, but you know, the scary part is this time of year, when it warms up like it did the last few days, kind of heading towards the late winter, the bears will come out of hibernation, and then you know, they could smell food and be like, So that's what I'm gonna do here. Dinner looks delicious, right? Huh? Tasty and nutritious. I might put a little bit of water in there just to kind of boil it up. Burn this bag when I can. And that's it. My dinner. It's a little funky. I'm not gonna lie. Meat should not be left unattended in 40, 50 degrees for 3 days straight, but after walking 5 miles, eating nothing but a little tiny protein bar, granola bar, I need nutrients, so I'm going to roll the dice. If I end up with diarrhea, I'll get that on video. Maybe tomorrow when I'm home. I'll be a video of me sitting on a toilet going, why'd I do it? Let's make it happen. Well, I thought I opened a pack of tea. Turned out to be a wet nap. But there, I did find a Russian tea bag in there. I just dropped it in there. Utana. A wet nap, huh? Very civilized, Mr. Vladimir Putin. I gotta get this tea bag out of here, because how am I gonna steep it? Alright. Probably can't grab that. Maybe I can. I'll burn myself. Oh, it's hot. It's hot. It's hot. And I lost it. Alright. Leave that out for now. I'm gonna build me a stove. If your tea bag falls inside, you can always do this. Because I don't care if there's bark in my tea. Oh, there it is. Russian tea bag. It's a little hot. I don't think I can drink it yet. Set that aside. Now, I'd like to show you something that most people take for granted. I actually am getting warm sitting here by this freaking fire. The wind's dying down too. Don't want to catch myself on fire though. Now, most stupid people, they think that when they make a fire, they want to make a teepee because that's what you see on TV and like old westerns and crap. That's not the type of fire you want to build in this situation. probably shouldn't have thrown that meat in there because it stinks to high heaven. So what you want to do is build what I call a cabin fire, a log cabin. So you take, so heat is like this. This particular log's a little janky, it should be lower, but I think because the way it's set up, you can feed the fire this way. Air flows through both sides. You want air to be able to flow through front and back. That'll keep it burning nice and hot. Protect the sides, and then I'll show you. I mean, this is a major mistake that people make when they build fires. Major. I have all my friends, they always come up and they want to go camping with me, and they're like, oh, I'll build a fire, and they start building one of them dumbass teepee fires. I'm like, dude, get out of the way. I tell them, get out of the way, let me do this. Oh no, I know what I'm doing, I build fires. Yeah, if you want to roast freaking marshmallows, you know, that works. But if you are trying to cook, freaking smoke. I gotta get this thing out. There. I gotta fix it. I can't. Freaking smoke, man. It's my nemesis, man. Right where I need to be, which is over here. Gotta get this dumbass tree out of here. This whole freaking thing. Stupid thing. It's in the way. Now I can build a real fire. Some of the smaller twigs. You can see the fire's dying down, so you gotta put some of these smaller ones in there. Keep it going. Then you get another one of these logs here, and that's how you build your cooking fire. You can see it. Boom. Now my handle's not going to get burnt. Plenty of heating my fire up. The air is flowing through, and you're good to go. Burn that plastic in a minute. I just don't want to burn it before I eat. It'll stink. It already stinks. So it's funny because freaking smoke, really, man? Wherever I go. Anyways, it looks brighter. The camera, I got iPhone 15 recording. I just saw something move in the woods, man. I'm really hoping that's a deer. Something big. All I saw, as you're looking through the woods, you see like a dark shadow going through the woods. Something big. About 150 yards away. Hope it's a deer. Could be a crazy. Matter of fact, let's load up the pellet rifle right now. You hear my meat just humming. That's a lumberjack special. This is a 22 caliber pellet rifle. That's very powerful. I mean, not crazy powerful. They got some that are way more powerful than this one. But it's like I tested it. I took a cinder block and set it up, and I shot it and cracked the cinder block in half with it, which means it'll crack your skull, no problem. And pretty accurate too. Oh no, this thing might be rusty. Oh no. I hope that was a bad pellet. This thing hasn't been used in a while, and I didn't oil it, so it could be a little rusty. In that case, if you feel like your pellet is sticking, moisten it with your spit, and then it'll probably go in easier. Yeah, there you go. Because you don't want it to get it jammed, because if it's jammed, it won't work, and you could blow the gun up. So, look at that tree over there. That big tree right there. Let's shoot the tree. Never gets old. I'm just saying. The little kid in me, the Tom Sawyer Huck Finn in me, I enjoy shooting. One of the things I miss about, you know, being a felon. I'm not allowed to shoot nothing. A real gun. It sucks. Well, I shoot my crossbow, and it's pretty deadly. Just ask the deer that I've killed with it. Look, I'll shoot a hole through my sled with this thing. Go right through it. Right through it. It's already got holes in it, so whatever. Let me stir up my meat. Cold as it is, the wind's dying down now. So getting warm. I was freezing my balls off about an hour ago because I didn't have my coat. I didn't wear my coat when I went fishing. I just, you know, knowing I was going to be hiking and it wasn't that cold. It was pretty warm. I knew it was going to get warm. I could tell when I left it was already like 35, 40 degrees at like noon. So, tired, my feet hurt. It's almost too dark to shoot anything, man. Nothing moving. Everything kind of goes to bed. Wintertime like this, everything kind of goes to bed by this time of night. I know the video makes it look like it's bright, but what the hell was that? Well, at the end of the day, if you got one of these pellet rifles, theoretically you could hunt. Even if you got a coyote up close, let's say I took that scrap bone and meat and stuff that I had left, and I set it up so where I could hunt upwind from it. So I could, let's say I found a bunch of coyote tracks in a certain area, and you know coyotes are moving through there. Coyotes are pretty much nomadic, so they're usually in the same place twice, or they might come back to the same place a week later or a month later. They're not like deer habitual where they use the same territory every day. Same things, but they can, like bobcats, for example, do that. Foxes too, they have their own little territories. So this gun would be perfect for a fox. So you take your scrap meat and you throw it out there, and then you get downwind of it, so a fox or whatever smells it, they won't smell you. I had one time I was with this gun. I was in Missouri coyote hunting, and had a coyote. I used a predator call, which is sounds like a rabbit in distress. I used a little piece of rabbit fur tied to a string so I could pull it to a fishing line so I could make it look like it's a rabbit moving. Did distress, and I put some I think I had rabbit guts is what it was. I had shot a rabbit is what it was. So I took the fur from it and the guts from it and I put it down there about 35 yards away from me. And I do the sound, and the coyotes are smart enough to know, like, I'm not gonna go charging into something without knowing what it is. So they circle downwind. And I was sitting there like in this little ground blind I made, basically just against a tree and some brush. And I hear, it's coming in. And it's trying to figure out where that was coming from. And it gets right behind me because the wind's blowing this way. And it gets right behind me. I'm talking like 10 yards behind me. It was getting dark and I didn't want to move because if I moved, he'd see me. It gets right behind me and stops. And I'm just like, man, I hope this thing like doesn't get my wind and goes for that rabbit. But it didn't. It sat there for about 10 seconds just sitting there. But it's spooky and eerie, man. Like, there's a predator right behind you, 10 yards behind you, like looking at you like, maybe he thinks you're, something to eat and he's gonna run up and hit you. He didn't, he took off. I almost shot a big coyote there one day. I was sitting on the porch drinking coffee, and a big coyote popped over, like, because we were on top of a mountain, and it went down, and like 20 yards from our house, it went down. It popped right up and sit there looking around. It was just kind of looking around, sniffing. I actually stood up, walked into my house, went and got this pellet gun, and right as I came out, my cat, that's what happened was, my cat was trying to get out on we have the desk near the door, and I go to creep open the door, the coyote was still right there, big coyote too, looked like a wolf, and just as I'm about to sneak out the door, my cat goes to jump out, and I grab the cat, and the door goes bang, and I make a bunch of noise, and it takes off, and I don't get it. Had my cat not done that, man, I would have put a pellet right in that freaking thing's head, and I'd have a much different story to tell you. That's all I'm saying. Things got kicked. Well, let's eat. Let's see how my dinner turns out, huh? Shall we? 1 second. Just to prove how cold it is, if you look at my chair here, it's covered in snow, and I tried to brush it off, and it's like frozen snow. It's like ice. So I get it off, my butt will be frozen. I sit down to eat on a freaking pile of snow. Kind of sucks. Let me situate my situation. All right, let's try my meat. It's getting dark, like I can't even see. Camera makes it look like I almost made a major faux pas. Matter of fact, let me fix this. Yeah, almost. I couldn't find the salt I had. I don't know what happened, but thankfully I had found another one amongst them. So here's my dinner. My survival dinner. Oh, that freaking meat in there stinks. I got some crackers, Russian crackers, and what'd I do with my fork, man? I just had it. That's the problem. It's darker than you think. Freaking is it? There it is. Yeah, it's dark. Take a few pieces of this funky ass rancid meat. I'm sure it's not too bad. Can't be any worse than that Russian meat I ate a couple nights ago. Geez, that was last night? Feels like 2 days ago. There's more. I got more. There's my little plate. And I got a little salt, and I got some crackers. Probably should put a bunch of salt on it. And I got these weird Russian crackers. Not even sure. Can you see me? I can't even see if you can see me. I don't know how to describe these crackers. They're like, they're almost like biscuits. They're not salty at all. A little bit stale. No, I'm going to thank God. Father God, I pray in Jesus' name, first and foremost, to thank you for Jesus. Thank you for my blessings, my forgiveness, for your mercy, for your grace, my salvation, my friends, my family, my loved ones, my wife, my pets, my home, my talents, my career, my health. I thank you for the same for all of my friends and family and loved ones. Continue to protect us all, guide us in all that we do. Protect us from the evil ones, from the haters, from the ones who would want to see us fail. Bless us with success in all that we do, and love and peace and happiness. Continue that. Thank you, Father. I pray in Jesus' name for a warm, comfortable night of sleep and a healthy, safe trip back home to my wife. Looking forward to seeing her. I know she's worried. Thank you for this cozy little camp and this shelter that I built. Thank you for this nice weather. It could have been a lot worse. Probably would have been better for TV had it been blizzarding and snow, but I can't complain. The weather wasn't so bad. And thank you for this food, although it's questionable. But thank you, Father. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. And Father, thank you for all the opportunities before me. Now, those who don't know, I'm starting a radio station, my own radio station, a Christian programming radio station. It's not just Christian, I mean, it's everything. It's news talk radio, but the foundation is going to be Christian based. And there will be a lot of Christian shows but there'll be other shows, you know. Um, I'll even use some of my old YouTube shows, but ultimately those shows are going to be to just juxtapose my old life to my new life, just so you can hear about who I was in another life before I went to prison, hear about prison a little bit, and then you can hear about how I turned it around, became a writer, how God led me to my wife, my now wife, who worked for a publisher and discovered samples of my books online and was impressed enough to ask me to read the whole thing. When she did, she read To Be a King, the full manuscript. And she was blown away and called me a unicorn and said it was the best book she'd ever read. And she's been working in publishing for 10 years and a huge reader all her life. All of it is part of God's plan. And that event of her coming into my life ultimately led to me where I am today. I couldn't have got here without my wife. No way. I had no technical skills at all whatsoever. This stuff does taste a little funky, man. There's no way I was gonna, maybe I would have been able to publish my books on my own, but sure would have been tough without my wife. So, this deer meat tastes disgusting. It's a little aged, also partly burnt from the pan, and I'm gonna eat it sparingly because, oh man, I knocked over my tea. What the frick, man? I knocked over my tea, dude. Lucky for me though, I got more hot water. Oh. Yeah, about that, by the way. I just ate a piece of burnt deer meat. It tastes so bad. About that, Russian tea is weird. Basically, everything that is in the Russian stuff is weird. Tyler Allen, thank you for it. Is still, appreciated. And the two main entrees, the like chili and the beef, were quite delicious. The chocolate was good. Tea's a little weird. The cheese spread and pureed sweet potatoes or squash or whatever the hell it was a little funky. Didn't eat it. Still in there. Not gonna eat it. I'm a soldier. I think I'm just gonna skip the rest of that deer meat, man. It's a little funky. I don't want to get sick. You know what I'm saying? This is all part of a learning experience. Next time, you know what I should have done? I got a bunch of deer jerky. Got a bunch of it. A big freaking bag of deer jerky. I just made it a couple weeks ago. Like 10 pounds of it. I could just do that in a bag and I wouldn't have to worry about it going bad. You can even reconstitute it if you really want to. You can, put it in water and cook it and it'll puff up and you'll have it'll be tough, but it'll be meat. Or you can just eat it. It doesn't have to be cold, stored, nothing. Things like this, crackers. I'm gonna eat all these crackers. That's what I'm gonna do for carbs. It'll fill me up and sleep all right. But yeah, the wind's dying down. That's nice. So quiet out. The coyotes, you guys heard the coyotes last night, right? I'm eating with my mouth full. Now, just when I say the wind's dying down, big gust of wind picks up and it starts snowing. It's snowing. I can see the snow coming. Like it, how you see fog coming? You can see it. That's what I see from upwind. It's all fogged out, which means it's snow because it ain't fog and it's 20 degrees. But that's gonna be it, man. I'm gonna tough it out one more night. One more night. One more night. I am hungry. Note to self, pack more food next time. Don't be so impetuous. In my mind, I'm thinking, dude, when I was a kid, I remember, not kid, but I was like, 21, 22, I was like 23, 24. My cousin I call him. I like, dude, you want to go steelhead fishing? He's like, yeah. I'm like, let's go camp. We'll camp up by my dad's on the Sable River. There's this dam called Foot Dam. And then I said, what is camp? My dad will, you know, stop by and see us because he only lives like 8 miles away. But this is a funny story. Dude, these are crazy stories, funny as hell. This is a true story, and you're probably never going to believe it. Matter of fact, let me put the light on so you can kind of see. Nah, I don't need the light, not yet. I mean, the camera does such a good job gathering light that I don't even need it. So, my cousin says, let's go up there. So, what do we need? We pack a light. I literally grab a sleeping bag and a tent. He grabs a sleeping bag. We go steelhead fishing, and I won't even get into the whole debacle that was. But basically, because I was a snagger and I was kind of the master snagger, we were up by the dam fishing illegally, snagging these steelhead, and I hooked 3 fish back to back to back over like half hour, and he borrowed a net from some other guy and was trying to net my fish, and he kept netting them wrong because there's a way to net a fish and there's a way to net a fish. He didn't. You gotta be able to see my face to hear this story. That's all right. So this freaking guy, I tell him, listen, to net one of these fish, you have to head first. So I said, I'm gonna play the fish out till it's tired, and then I'm kind of like, you get the net in the river. There's a big like wall there, like 8 feet up. So you got a big long pole on the end of the net, and some guy had one. And so I said, get the net in the water, and I will turn the fish. Like I'll like let tension off. It'll turn downriver, and it'll swim into the net. You have to get it in the head first. You have to get the fish and then the net head first. If you don't, if you try to like swipe at it and go from the tail up, what'll happen is inevitably every time the hook will get caught in the net, the fish thrashes and goes, and then the hook stays in the net and you lose the fish. So I tell him this, he does it. I said, dude, wait for me, head in, fish head first. All right, he's kind of a dummy. He God rest his soul, but he was not that bright. Second fish. And by the way, these fish are hard as hell to catch. Like in my whole life, I've only caught like 20 steelhead. My whole life, I'm 50 years old. And you know, at this point in my life, I'd only caught like 3 or 4 in my whole life. And I just get another one, and he does the same exact thing. He swipes at it, tries to catch it. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? I just told you. Does it again. Third time, I'm telling him, you know, dude, head first. Get the head in first. Relax. No rush. I'll get him. I'll steer him into the net. You just swoop forward. He does it again. Boom. So now I'm on the 4th fish, right? On the 4th fish, he gets the net. I go, look out, mother effer. And I grab the net from him. I said, I'll net one. I'm net myself. He had the nerve to get mad at me. Like, he had the nerve to get mad at me. Like, bro, you just blew 3 fish in a row, steelhead. They're like, you're lucky to catch 1 in a year. And you blew 3 in a row, bro. So I'm like, look out. And I literally hold the rod and stick this long 10-foot pole down and scoop it up myself, and boom. So we get 1 fish. Where's my team? So we're gonna cook this steelhead, right? He's like, well, how are we gonna cook it? I'm like, don't worry, we'll figure something out. So we go to town, which is like 10 miles away, and there's this store, like a little meat shop, right? And I go in there, and they sell this best thick cut bacon, this massively thick cut bacon. And so we get a pound of this bacon. And he's a big guy, by the way. Johnny was like 6'5", like 290 pounds. He's a big dude. And I was pretty big too at the time. I was, a big muscle bound motherfucker. And so we buy this bacon, and we go back, and he's like, how this is funny as hell. He's like, how you gonna, I said, don't worry, I'll find something. He's like, how you gonna cook it? Because we fillet the fish down by the river. We end up filleting it. He's like, how you gonna cook it? So we got these 2 big, massive fillets. Each one of them's like 3 pounds, 4 pound fillets. How you gonna cook this fish? I'm like, don't worry, I'll find something. So I said, just drive down this trail. It goes back to the river. Drive, it winds. And then it kind of ends at like a little, almost like camping spot. Not really, it's just kind of a spot you could camp. And I said, park here, we'll find something. And he's standing there literally looking at me going, bro, why are we here, bro? Like, we could have bought aluminum foil or something. I'm like, don't worry, we'll find something. And I am not joking. You can't make this up, man. I get out of the car and I walk into the woods about 20 yards, and sticking out of the ground like it's been buried for years is an iron skillet. I reach down, I shake it off and pull it out. I go, right here, bro. And he literally says, bro, I've seen it all. Unbelievable. Only you, bro. Like, literally, you just walk in the woods and pull a skillet out of the ground. I'm like, I'm a lucky guy, whatever. So we ended up frying all the bacon grease, and I had told my, because when we went to town, we passed my dad's and said, we're going to go back, we're going to kick the steelhead, so you're welcome to come by our camp and have some steelhead with us, right? He said, yeah, I'll bring a 6-pack, I'll be there, in a couple hours. I said, all right. So we cook all this bacon up, and we basically, we cook all the bacon up to make the grease to fry it in this. I clean it, you take the skillet like I showed you with the sand and the grit. I was able to clean it. It was a little rusty, obviously, but I cleaned it up pretty good. Fried the bacon in it, so it kind of greased it, oiled it, and then so I got a big thing of bacon grease. We eat the whole pound of bacon between us. We just are smashing bacon. We're just like grunting. We're not even talking. And then I take the steelhead and we fillet both fillets. We fry both fillets. We fry one fillet, and I think we bought some mayonnaise when we were in town too, so we use it like tartar sauce. And we eat it, and we're like, that ain't enough. So I'm like, let's cook the other one. So we eat the other one. Totally forget about my dad. Totally forget about him. So he comes back. My dad shows up. An hour later, we're just sitting by the fire going, grunting and groaning. It was a good day, He was a little salty about the whole netting thing, but he was over it. And it was funny as hell. So then, I gotta tell you the next year, the funny thing though. And so my dad pulls up and he's like, what's up, man? Where's the steelhead? I'm hungry. And I'm like, oh, sorry, Dad. We ate it all. And he's like, you ate an entire 10-pound steelhead? And we're like, yeah, and a pound of bacon. And he just starts laughing. He's like, well, must have been hungry. And he gives us the beer. We sit there and hang out. Now, fast forward, very next year, same place. Identical spot, right? Same exact scenario. We come back, we catch a steelhead. I catch one. He don't never catch nothing. Catch a steelhead. We go. Here's something. And we. I said, go to our spot. I'll figure out something. He's like, what are you're never gonna find another frying pan, bro. It's your life ain't that freaking gravy. Like you ain't that blessed. I'm like, I'll figure something out. We'll find something. And I'm thinking I might find some aluminum foil or a little like grill type of thing, like maybe an old barbecue or something that somebody barbecued there, like when they fried something there, cooked something there on their camping. If not, I can cook it on a flat rock. Now you take a flat rock and just put it in the fire and let it heat up real hot, and then you can fry it on that. That was kind of my plan. So we pull up the same spot, get out of the car. I start looking around in the woods. I go about 20 yards, and boom, I find a hubcap, big old hubcap. Big old, LTD or Cadillac hubcap, big one. And I go, here we go. And he's like, you gotta be kidding me, bro. There's no way. And I clean it up. I'm like, perfect. We'll cook up the fish. So we cook up the fish and we eat it. Same thing. And then the funniest part about that trip to me was the next day, and we camped. And the next day, and it was cold and stuff, but not like this. It wasn't cold like this. It was cold. And so the next day, I have a pellet gun, right? It's a 177 caliber pellet gun, Chinese training rifle. So it's basically, it looks like an SKS assault rifle, and it feels like it, and it has the same weight as everything, except it's just like that pellet gun. It's a crack barrel, spring loaded, one shot. It's for training, like the military. When they first start training, they don't want to hand them real guns because they might kill each other accidentally. So they give them a pellet gun. It has the same weight and feel. So that's what they use for initial training in boot camp, I guess. My dad bought some of them because, like I said, my dad was a gun dealer. So he bought a bunch. He bought like 10 of them and he sold them. He'd sell them. But he gave me one. So I had it for years. So it was in the back seat of the car. And we pull up to our spot from fishing, right? I don't think we had caught any that morning or whatever. And we come pulling up, and as we pull up into our spot, there's a turkey, one lone turkey, one hen turkey just sitting there. And it doesn't run off and like freak out or run away. It just kind of like clucks away. And we pull up and don't get out, and it's sitting there looking at us. It's only like maybe 20 feet from the car, and it's looking. I go, what the frick? And I go, where's my pellet gun? And he goes, it's in the back seat. So I climb over the back seat, grab it, cock it, put a pellet in there. Blah, blah. He goes, Johnny says, dude, what are you gonna do, bro? You ain't gonna kill no freaking turkey with that little pellet gun. And I looked at him, I go, stranger things have happened. And he, with me, stranger things has happened. And he looks and goes, I have seen strange things. We both get out of the car at the same time. He really doesn't even pay any attention to me. Like, he's gonna go over there and start a fire, or gonna go in the cooler for food or whatever. And I'm like stalking towards this turkey, but it's only like 25 feet away. And so he's not really paying much attention to me, Johnny. And I freaking know the only way to kill this turkey is a headshot. And it, you know, means the target is about that big. And these guns are not accurate. They're not. Like, you can hit a tin can at like 20 feet, you know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to hit something the size of a quarter at like 30 feet. So it's really going to be luck, mostly luck. And so I take aim and bam, hit the thing. Bang! It hits it right in the head. It starts flopping around, flopping around. So I'm thinking, oh, cool, I killed it. He's good. But no, it flops around for a second and then kind of gets back on its feet and starts like stumbling and walking. And it starts running away. And I don't want to eat it. I'm here to eat this mother. I want to eat turkey. Like, we're going to roast this turkey, man. So I think fast. I turn the gun over upside down with the stock on this end like a bat, like a club. And I run over there and I clobber this turkey to death. Bang, bang, bang. And Johnny's dying. He's over there laughing, going, oh my God, I've seen it all. Back then, we would have had like videos for all this stuff and got this stuff on video. Like, yeah, can you imagine the views I would have got? I mean, some people would have thought that's too savage and you're killing a turkey on the camera with a club, but I mean, or in survival mode. It was spring, so I think there's turkeys were legal to kill at the time. Although I probably didn't have I'm sure I didn't have a license to kill, or like a permit or nothing. Whatever the case is, we sat there and we roasted that turkey, man. And it took like 5 hours, sitting by the fire for 5 hours roasting it. And I kept turning it. We made a little spit, you know. Now this kind of you see in a movie, like the two fork things on this side of the fire with a stick that goes through from the neck to the butt, and then we just kind of crank it every 5 minutes, move it around, get in the fire, and we fried up this turkey. And dude, we ate almost all that turkey, man. We were there for like 2 more days, and we just lived off of the wild turkey that I killed with a pellet gun. So just goes to show you, you can survive. And when there's a will, there's a way. And that was more luck than anything, but still, I mean, sometimes, you know, luck's on your side. Right now, it's not, because it's super cold. I didn't kill anything. I didn't catch anything. But hey, I made a video. I'm just saying, I made a good video. I like to think it's entertaining. Now I'm going to get ready to go sleep in my tent. Well, I said I was going to sleep in there, and I'm going to sleep in there again. To be perfectly honest, I was warmer in that thing than I was in the tent. And I wasn't cold in the tent too bad. And by morning, I was pretty cold. But that thing, as long as I keep the fire going all night, which I got to vamp it up right now, then as long as I stay by the fire, I should be good. Although the wind's blowing away from me, so it's going to blow a lot of the heat away. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to go. But if it goes the other way, I'll catch on fire, and that's not good. So let's get this fire popping, and then I'm going to get ready for bed. And then in the morning, I'm gonna pack it up, hike out of here, jump on the quad, drive back to my Blazer, throw it on the trailer, head home, and surprise my wife. Because by this point, she's probably wondering where I am. I'm just kidding, she knows where I am. I texted her, I got signal over there, a couple 100 yards away. When she got home that day, she went to church that morning. And so she came home, I'm gone. And there's a note on the table that said, listen, I'm going camping, I'll be back in a couple days. She's like, what? Middle of freaking winter, you're going camping by yourself? Weirdo. I'm looking forward to some baked goods, if you know what I'm saying. My wife always makes me baked goods. So some cupcakes will be nice. Any kind of cake. With some nice cold milk. I miss my Fairlife milk. Anyways, it's dark now. It's pitch black out here. I don't know if you can even see. There's no. Oh, yeah, it's bright with this light. It's bright as hell, but it is pitch black out now. Quiet. I haven't heard a human sound in 3 days. Nothing, except the plane's going over. Once in a while, a plane goes over. All right, give me a minute. My fire went out. I had to take a dump. But I'm going to show you a trick. Fire goes out, you have to take a dump. You come back, your fire's out. So it's smoldering. See these green pine boughs here? I don't know why they call them pine boughs, but that's what they call them, pine boughs. Look at that light. Anyways, even though they're green, and typically nobody associates anything green with fire. However, 2 things with these things. A, if you break them off and you put them in here, they trap the heat in, and they dry out so fast that, believe it or not, even green, they will burst. And there's like pine tar in them. And so that burns really fast and really hot. So fire is out. All I gotta do is get my bellows out. What? Why does it turn on me? I'm over here. I go over there, it goes over there. What the frick? Watch, it'll follow me. See? Look at that. It's insane, bro. It's like it has a mind of its own. Yeah. Blew it out. Inhaled it. Oh, don't do that. There you go. Put some more of them pines in there. They'll burn. Look how fast they'll burn. Even though they're green. Burning up my shelter. So the heat will get trapped in there and then the fire will go. Now, I gotta get my bed ready. It's gonna be a long night. Keep my bellows handy right here in case I gotta start the fire if I go to sleep for too long and it burns out. But I got all these big logs, so once I get a fire going a little better here, I'll put some big logs on there, and they're like kind of wet too, so they'll burn slow. I don't need much of this little stuff. In case the fire goes out, you want some handy, but the frickin' smoke, man. Unbelievable. Right in my freaking face. Alright. Yeah. This is horrible with the smoke, man. It gave me an instant headache. You may or may not see, I got rocks. I'm gonna heat these rocks up, get them nice and hot. I gotta put them in the fire. They're warm, but they ain't hot. We wanna get them hot. Whew. Hard to get out of there though, man. You gotta use chopsticks. Fucking smoke is insane. Look at this, it's following me. It's like, wherever you go, bro, I'm on you. Wherever you go, I'm on you. Look at me, insane out in the woods. At least the wind calmed down for momentarily anyways. Freaking smoke gave me a headache. All right, get ready for bed. Time to get my bed situated. I got a pillow, I got my hot rocks going. Cold tonight. Hot rocks are hot though. Keep them inside. Gotta keep them. Got all my hot rocks. They're hot. I'm gonna keep them right here next to my bed where to keep some heat in. And I got a technique here for a pillow. You saw a couple days ago I showed you this earthing bag, right? What I'm gonna do is take my water jug, which is almost empty. I'm gonna wrap it in this and use it as a pillow just to rest my head on. That way I can keep my jacket on, and I'm not gonna keep it on, but I'm gonna lay it on me as a blanket. So that's it. I'm about to cozy in, call it a night. In the morning, I'll clean up my mess, break camp, tack the sled, hike my butt out, and that'll be it. 3 days into the remote wilderness of northern Michigan. Location, nobody knows. It's not the Upper Peninsula, but I'm in an area that's just as remote. So it's, you know, the Black River, Pigeon River State Forest, Atlanta State Forest area. It's massive, hundreds and hundreds of square miles of wilderness. I go on my dirt bike exploring all summer and drive from my house, and it's so remote, dude. It's almost scary because you get lost and you're back in there. So let's call it a night. Boot. I put my boots out here or right here, because I'm gonna have to get up and pee. It's just inevitable. I get up and pee in the middle of the night. I can't help it. My pillow. Put these here. Yeah, that'll kind of act as a shield by the hot rocks, keep the heat bouncing off my boots and keep my boots warm. Oh, I should have took this jacket off before I got in here. It's dark in here. Get in here. Get my jacket off. Ah. I am gonna sleep in my. I will sleep in my my robe though. Need light. Get in the sleeping bag. Into my tea time. Sleeping bag. Put the jacket over like a blanket right now. I'll be good, man. There you go. Alright, man. I'm on the pad, on a mattress. I'm close to the fire so I can put logs on the fire. And that's it. Zip it up in a minute. Put my jacket on. Dude, I only have one pair of socks on. Who's the G though? So I got this hat here. So I'll put this hat on first. I'll be able to pull it down. Put this hat on over that. Cover my ears and stuff. I got hot rocks here. I got logs. When the fire starts to die, I just kind of lean over and put a log in the fire. I don't want to burn it too much of it too quick though. Got my knife right here in case an attacker happens to show up. I may even put a log under a log right here and give me a little more pillow. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, I'm warm. It's called snowing. I can see the snow coming down. So, what's up with you outdoor boys? Let's see you do it hardcore, man. I don't got no propane heater. I got no propane stove to cook with. In fact, I don't even have any food. I ate rancid meat. All right, just took a poop out in the woods, pitch dark. Oh, by the way, I didn't have any toilet paper. I forgot to tell you that. Forgot my toilet paper. So I had to wipe a pine needle. So not the most sanitary situation I've ever been in. But I have a warm shelter. And I have a warm sleeping bag. Toasty warm. Got a good fire going, plenty of wood for the night. I got a pillow. I'll be out, bro. Listen, freaking 10 minutes, I'll be sleeping. I'll wake up when the fire dies down because I'll start to get cold. I'll wake up, probably have to get up and pee, pain in the butt, go over there and pee, climb all the way back in this whole thing all over again, get the fire going, start over. Makes for a long night, but all good, man. I'm out. Sweet dreams. Looking forward to seeing my wife. Only thing that would have made today better if I would have caught a big pike or a big smallmouth bass. Preferably smallmouth, they're better to eat. Had I caught a nice big 3-4 pound smallmouth bass and been able to cook it, ooh wee. I didn't have any mayonnaise or nothing but tartar sauce, but I had salt. That's all I need. Nothing like the smell of the fire though. Even though my head hurts because I inhaled all that freaking smoke, but nothing like the smell of a campfire, man. It brings me a lot of peace and joy. And I'll tell you why. When I was in prison, I dreamed of this. This is why I try to tell you they would never put me on that show alone. Because if I was on the show alone, I'd win it. There's no way I'd lose. I'd be out there forever. There's no way if you said $1 million to stay out there till the next man gives up or everybody else gives up, it's over. Because this is vacation to me. This is the stuff that I dreamed about for 13 years in prison. I'm actually warm right now. I'm actually hot. Where these hot rocks are, I'm hot. My feet are hot. Like I want to take my socks off. It's got this thick ass Russian jacket on me. And it's cold, man. It's probably, when the wind chill, probably 15 degrees. Maybe 20, I don't know. It's cold, that's for sure. But ain't no punk in me. I'm out here. I could live out here, really. If I can get Maria to just move out here with me and bring the cats, I'd be happy. I could be a billionaire. I'd be doing this right now. I could be a billionaire. I'd be right here, chilling in my little shelter. Let me check my BB gat just to make sure we got full power. Loses its juice in the cold. It ain't as powerful as it should be. It's got a new thing in there. New CO2. It's good to have it hanging right there in case you need it. Still got like 14 shots left, so I'm good. Nighty night, y'all. I'm out.